welcome.
Thank you.
You are the Executive Strategy Director at RGA, and RGA recently announced its own operating system, RGA OS. We know it includes some AI-related features as well. How do you think AI and machine learning will reshape how creative businesses work? Do you think it can help us build new big brands?
I think like most things, it will be a part of the creative process. I don't believe that we're all about to lose our jobs to machines and that we can write advertising just by algorithm. I think there is some of that, and it serves a very particular purpose. But there's always going to be a role for people. Machines, as far as I know, not yet, cannot replicate the empathy that people feel. That the way we craft stories, the nuance, the way we connect with people. For me, that is a skill that is born into our souls, and until machines learn that, I think we're not under threat. I think we will use them as part of an ecosystem, part of a mix of assets that we want to create. And yes, they will have a role to play. But it's like, a colleague of mine said to me the other day, Siri, if you ask her to wake you up in the middle of the night, she'll still shout at you. She doesn't whisper. And it's that knowing those bits of empathy is what we still do and can't be replicated. I think to your second question about building big brands, I think it depends on what you're asking, to do, what your objectives are. If you want to create a service based on machine learning and intelligence and a service that can learn, for example, maybe it's a concierge service in your car, then yeah, I think it has a role to play. But I think that's part of a bigger brand story, of which that thing is one element. So yes, it can help to build. I don't think it's the whole story.
In the age where we mostly experience brands through digital channels, do you think that brand strategy and user experience strategy are the same thing, or how do you think they work together?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I don't think they're the same thing. As the name suggests, brand strategy and brand design is almost about building something unique around people, but it has some very clear business objectives. Whereas user experience or experience strategy, experience design is almost like when you go deep into that world, and when people are actually engaging and touching the brand, what is that experience? And I think it is born of the brand strategy, but I think they work together. But I do see some different things, and they have. I mean, there's different skill sets in there as well. So there are experienced designers who do things that I've seen that I go, that's amazing. I've never been trained to do that, but I can help them with context about what that brand is trying to achieve in the market. And it's the same vice versa. There are, we have some fantastic experienced designers who will turn and say, what does this brand want to be? And that's that really nice kind of collaboration between brand strategy and experience strategy.
Last year at one of your presentations, you said that data can't tell you everything. It might inform decisions, but creative instincts make them. And you said that idea is still the currency. Maybe not today, but in the next phases of AI, do you think algorithms will be able to come up with better ideas and to make better decisions than humans with creative instincts?
You're asking all the easy questions today. The way I see it is, I think when we are using those tools like AI, or we're asking a machine to learn something, it's usually a concept that we want to for it to fulfill. I don't think we kind of go, we don't know what we're trying to achieve. Let's just see what the sort of intelligence can come up with. I think we are still in the business of ideas. We will be for the foreseeable future, because understanding how to use those technologies is part of the idea, and is part of good brand management and kind of being a client partner, is helping them navigate how to use technology and platforms like that. I don't see an immediate future where we still don't apply our instincts, where ideas are still, are not, the currency of what we do. I think that's going to carry on for a long time. And if I'm being opportunistic, because I am, I'm going to say that ideas will get better and better that we develop, because we're going to be using all of these technologies as they get more mature and as people get more comfortable with them.
Okay. You suggest us to find a way to love the problem.
Yeah.
You work with many brands which have different needs from all over the world, actually. In such work environment, what is your biggest challenge and what is your way to love it?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of young strategists, they ask me, how do I get on the cool briefs? How do I get on Nike and Beats by Dre? And the answer is, those brands were not where they are now. That's really hard work. Beats by Dre was not cool when RJ started working with them. Now it's one of the most well-known brands in the world. I think we move at such a speed, and culture is moving so fast. We think we need to be there now. And what I say to my colleagues in strategy and to people who want to come up in strategy is, stick with it. Know the problem better than everyone else. Love that problem. Have a really a dedicated view of how to solve it and what the steps are to get there, and you will get that brand to be the thing that everyone then wants to work on. I think that's something I would stress. When I was a young planner, you had a lot of time to work on briefs, and now you don't. But what I'd say to strategists is, don't almost fall, sort of assume that the answer will come so quickly. You still have to do the work, you still have to do the rigor, and you still have to help that brand on a journey. So I still say, love the problem. And then I forgot what was the sort of the other part that you mentioned.
What is your biggest challenge and what is your way to love it?
Oh, okay.
Your way.
My way. Okay. My way is, I love movies, right? I watch a lot of movies, and I love to think about brand problems and briefs like a movie that I love. And I imagine, the end of that movie, whether it's kind of a happy ending or something really exciting or whatever it is, and I almost want to take the brand on that journey, that sort of once upon a time, and here was the big adventure, and we all lived happily ever after. That's just my way. I like to think about brands as cultural elements, and to think, where, if people watch the movie of this thing, what is that, and how would they feel, and what's the journey that we took them on, and how can I get to that end that I want to get to? Okay.
Speaking of challenges, what are the main challenges brands trying to build resonant digital experiences are facing today?
It's a couple of things. I think probably the biggest thing is that we still think in terms of digital and not digital. I look around me and I see every single person in this room is on a phone, whilst on a computer, whilst having a conversation with the person sitting next to them. People don't think in I'm now in a digital channel, or I'm now having a conversation, I'm now in an analog channel. So if we don't, I think that's the challenge, is we still have teams set up like that in operationally. And something I try and do at RGA a lot is close that gap, and I don't have digital strategists and strategists. I have a team of strategists, and they are working across channels, across touch points. They are thinking about people first, and that's what enables them to do that.
We keep seeing big design studios being acquired or acqui-hired. via a strategic acquisition attempt, such as the recent ones, Cooper and Digital Telepathy. Do you think there is a sustainable business model for design studios like RGA?
Well, I'll speak from RGA's perspective. Is that the way we have made ourselves sustainable is we disrupt ourselves. I think if you carry on business as usual and assume that you'll be all right, that's probably not that sustainable. What RGA has done historically is disrupt itself at almost when it's at the top of its game, and by disrupting itself, it stays relevant and it remains a sustainable model. To be honest, I don't know where this is going to go. I think acquisitions are nothing new to our industry. I think it's what those acquisitions and what those new sort of groups of companies are able to do and make together, and how they actually resolve in things that impacts business and impacts consumers. That will kind of be the real test of whether that model was sustainable or not. But as I say, I think disrupting yourself when you're on top, as much as that doesn't sound intuitive, it's worked really well for RGA, and I think that's something we pride ourselves on doing, so that we can stay sustainable and keep doing what we do, which is create products, services, and communications that impact businesses and give people things that they want and that improves their lives.
What do you think from where you see our future? What would you suggest? Just one thing to young professionals who aim to make change working in the areas of design, software, and technology. What would be the one thing that you would suggest them? Read much more widely than this industry. I think we're sometimes we're very good at looking at our own stuff and obsessing a little bit about what we do and about technology and about startups and Silicon Valley and venture studios and I need to change the world because I've seen so many entrepreneurs get seed funding, and that's what I think all this stuff exists in a context, and that context is broad and wide, and I would love to see talent coming up that has a frame of reference that's bigger than just what we do. I think the best strategy people I ever worked with and experienced designers and analysts and consultants that I ever worked with had ideas and reference from quite far away from this industry. And that makes you think differently. It makes you see problems in a different way. It makes you more inspired. And I would love to see young people reading more outside of and consuming more outside of this industry in order to apply the insights and the humanity and the truths to what we do here, because I think it will make for better work. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.